everybody, it's Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. I am here with another Top 5 Wednesday. Today is the top 5 most polarizing books. Now, there are a ton of polarizing, controversial, crazy books in the world. So polarizing are things that people either love it or they hate it. This is my list that I came up with. I feel like these lists are so fluid. Things change so much, especially on BookTube where new books are coming out and opinions change, etc., etc. So let's jump right into the top 5 books. I'm going to start off with Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. Rupi Kaur. I do have a couple little tabs in here because there were a few different poems in here that I thought maybe might be worth remembering. But on a whole, I did not enjoy this. It was simple. It was simplistic. It was simple to the point of like, is it poetry? Like, I'm gonna say it. Is it? If it's 2 lines, is it? No. To me, just no. And I've either heard people that love it, super connect with it, and think it's amazing, or people like me that are like, why are we toting this as like the most amazing poetry of the year when it's just line drawings and a couple words? I just, nope. For me, this is not what I want out of a book of poetry. And I feel like this is one thing that people felt either very strongly for or against. So I'm throwing this into the mix this week. Also going with We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. For me, this was one of my favorite books and I really, really liked it. I connected with it. I was emotionally invested in it, but I feel like a lot of people either loved it or hated it. And I'm on the loved it side, but I understand that there's plenty of people that are also on the hated it side. If you bring this book up, people will have an opinion on it. If they're readers, they have an opinion on this. And it's usually pretty strong one way or the other. It's just one of those books that you either love it or you hate it. So this made the list. Similarly, although I do not have it right now, is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. A bit of a picture. You either love this or you hate it. And I hate it. I hate it with a fiery, burning passion. I had friends that read it, loved it, and said, you have to read this book. It's so amazing. And even though it wasn't super hyped, it was way before BookTube, so I was still completely going in blind. I loathed it. I loathed the entire first part of that book. And then even the second part where we get a narrator swap, it's still, like, it became interesting, but not good. Like, it still annoyed the crap out of me. And that ending, I can't. I just cannot. And this is not necessarily to take something away from Gillian's natural talent for writing. She's obviously gifted, but I flippin' hate her stories. I hate them. I hate her characters, her narrators. I didn't like Grown Ups, which was a short story that I read by her. I will not be reading her other books, Sharp Objects, Dark Places. I can't with her. So, yep, that. I'm also going to put in here the Eragon series. So it's the Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini, and it's the Inheritance Cycle. So it's Eragon, Eldest, Brissinger, and then Inheritance. And I read all 4 of them. I love them. I also started reading them a lot younger than I am now. And I was just enthralled by the fact that Eragon was written when Christopher was 15 years old, which I thought was phenomenal. So there was a lot of forgiveness for me there in that series. And then I continued through. There's no focus on romance, although there is like a flirtation. The world building was phenomenal. There's dragons, which I loved. There's a magic system that I found really exciting. There's political intrigue and drama. There's everything that I want from a fantasy novel. And I really thought it was great. But I know a lot of people that have tried to get into it and they just can't do it. And a lot of people that get into it and just can't accept that the first book was written by a 15-year-old and might not be the best of the series, and they give up. So I understand that. I feel like as well, if you've got a YA reader, that this can be a pretty polarizing book. You either love it or you hate it. You read it at the right time or you don't. You didn't, and yeah. So that made the list. I'm also throwing in an author. So I know it's not a book, I know it's an author, but I'm going with Colleen Hoover because as I go through BookTube and as I watch reviews and I watch hauls and I watch people talk about their favorites and their least favorites, I see a lot of people who either read these books and love them or just do not like Colleen Hoover. And I think that that might be a genre thing, like they just don't prefer the genre, they don't like the contemporary genre. I really like them, and I think I like them for a few reasons. One, they're not YA contemporaries. These are relationship contemporary books based with adults, and for me, I need adults. I'm not in an age where the YA contemporaries really cut it for me, so I need older characters. These are older characters. They're complex with real life issues. They're still fluffy, except for this one. I can enjoy these for what they are, and I know a lot of people who have said, she's just not an author for me. So I feel like her in general as an author can be pretty polarizing, not necessarily one book in particular. That's my top 5. Gone Girl, Milk and Honey, Aragon series, Colleen Hoover as an author, and We Were Liars. That's my top 5. What do you think is a polarizing book? A book that people either love or hate? I'd love to know your thoughts down below, because then I can tell you whether I loved it or hated it. Let's chat down below. I cannot wait. Thank you for tuning in for another Top 5 Wednesday. I appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with me and taking the time to comment, which you always do. You guys are phenomenal. If you liked this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Click subscribe. I will see all of you in my next video. Bye, guys.